Hi everyone, I'm Theresa V, and this is the place to be if you're a spiritually focused, sensitive, or empath who wants to feel more joy, more alive, and live your purpose more deeply on this beautiful planet. And today we'll be talking about crystals, including why you might want one, what they're used for, choosing a crystal, caring for them, and knowing when your work with your crystal might be finished. Stay tuned. Whether your crystals are in geode form, in polished form, or in jewelry form, choosing and caring for them is really important. Many people find crystals to be a natural extension of their spiritual journey. Some people just find them really beautiful and seek to keep them in their spaces just to be inspired. Crystals can be used for so many things. They might carry memories or programming. They might be part of your healing journey or part of a healing journey that you walk a client or a loved one through. And still at other times, they serve to simply increase the beauty of any space. Here are 5 things that everyone needs to know about crystals. Number 1, your crystals choose you. Though you might have really well-intentioned friends or family members who saw this crystal and thought of you and have brought it to you, ultimately, the crystal needs to resonate with you and you alone. No one can really choose a crystal for you. In fact, very rarely do you even choose the crystal. More often than not, the crystal chooses you. What do I mean by that? You might be walking through an entire crystal shop and be stopped right in your tracks in front of something that just somehow strikes you and you need to pick it up and examine it. That's what I mean. The crystal chooses you. Stand with it, feel it, spend some time with it. Make sure that the resonance feels correct. The crystal, whatever form it takes, will somehow jump out at you. It might be visually, it might be energetically, or it might physically fall off the shelf right in front of you. The important thing is to realize that you will know when it's correct. So a lot of people believe that if you're choosing this crystal now, there is the possibility that you might have programmed it in a past life, or that someone programmed it with information and wisdom that you need right now that's part of your life purpose. And this is why certain crystals will resonate with you over others. Also, choosing the right crystal for the job is important. So just like with people, you wouldn't necessarily call a janitor to help you with a relationship problem or a lawyer to help you clean up the bathroom of your building. You want to choose the crystal that can help you the most with the matter at hand. For example, if you're working on your heart chakra or you want to create a really beautiful and loving space, or you're working on relationships, a crystal like rose quartz would be good for you to have in the space. You need to choose the crystal with the right energy for what you are working with at any given time. Take your time. Make sure it's the right crystal for you. Trust the process. The crystals that are right for us always find us somehow, especially when we're not looking for them. Number 2, just like people, crystals need to be bathed and cleansed. Because they are such agents of healing, because they are natural, living, breathing things, they absorb energies. And when we cleanse them, it gives the crystals a chance to release these energies and be as clear as possible. The first thing you want to do when you get a crystal is to cleanse it. A good way to do that is to mix a little bit of Castile soap and water and soak your crystals inside of it for a couple of hours. The one thing you want to be sure of is that you're not soaking crystals that will dissolve, like selenite. Learn that one the hard way. And crystals are living things. They're living energy, so they absorb other energies. One of their functions is to clear space, to clear energy. So as they do that, they pull it inside of themselves. So for these reasons, you'll want to cleanse your crystals as soon as you get them. You can use this Castile soap and water technique at any point in time. And you can also use the moon and the sun. There's almost nothing that works better for cleansing crystals than full moon energy. So on the night of the full moon, take all of your crystals outside and let them bathe in the energy of the full moon for the entire night, and they'll be cleansed and charged the next day. The energy of the sun does a very similar thing. It tends to be more energizing than cleansing, which can be a very good thing. But be careful when you're leaving your crystals out in the sunlight. Make sure that they're crystals that won't fade due to sunlight exposure. So a crystal like amethyst is not a good crystal to leave in direct sunlight, whether it be outside in the sunlight or inside your home. So if your crystals need more cleansing than anything else, use the moonlight. If they need more charging than anything else, use the sunlight. Play with it and find out which crystals respond well to moonlight, which respond well to sunlight. They'll let you know. The third thing you need to know is that size matters. The size of your crystal is important. The bigger the crystal, the more energy it packs. But bigger is not always better. Bigger can sometimes be overwhelming. So it is really important to go into your wisdom and not just buy crystals or find crystals from the egoic perspective of, I have so much energy, I am such a high vibration that I need the biggest possible crystal, because that doesn't always lead to the best outcome. Having the wisdom to choose the right size crystal for the job at hand is important. So just to give you an example, you might need a quartz crystal this size and shape, or you might need a quartz crystal this size and shape, or maybe even smaller or bigger. Whichever one resonates with you is great. Choosing a larger or smaller crystal doesn't mean anything in terms of your energy, other than that's the one with the right vibration for you right now for whatever reason. And chances are that reason is the wisdom that it contains and not the amount of energy that it's putting out. If you're bringing crystals into your space, into your home space especially, you want to pay attention to how big and how many of them there are. Too much crystal energy in your living space can start creating the effect of living in a cathedral, which isn't necessarily conducive to having a family living in that space. If you're creating a healing space, you would want to create a different kind of energy than the energy that you're setting in a living space. So just pay attention to that and know that maybe in your living space, smaller crystals spaced throughout the areas are better, and maybe even crystals that resonate with different members of the family and what they're going through or experiencing. Crystals do change the energy of any space. You don't even have to do anything, they just do it on their own. They work as conductors and they work as amplifiers. So be very cautious about what kind of crystal it is and where you're placing it. Know what the particular crystal that you have can do. Know what it supports and know what challenges it may bring to the situation. For example, if you're a psychotherapist and you feel that having a rose quartz in your space would help to bring a calming, more open-hearted energy into your office, if that feels like the right vibration for you, great. But if you just found a really beautiful piece of amethyst, knowing that amethyst increases vibration and that maybe you have patients who might potentially be in a manic phase, then you might want to rethink bringing that amethyst into that particular space or moving it out of the space on certain days. I would recommend bringing in crystals that will serve the space without you having to move them in and out. That way there's a stable, harmonious energy that gets created and it doesn't feel transient to people, because you never know. Even people who have no idea what crystals are might be sensitive to them without knowing it. And maybe they would never know because they had never been exposed to crystals before. You'll find that people, after you've brought a crystal into your space, whether it's huge or whether it's small, they'll just walk in and be like, ooh, it feels good in here, or it feels really different in here. Did you change something? Did you get new blinds? Is there more light? They'll notice that something is different. They won't be able to necessarily express exactly what that is. Crystals are not yours forever. This is a hard one because often we'll invest very heavily in at least one beautiful piece of crystal. not every crystal is destined to be part of your life forever. There are some crystals that come in for a time and really serve a beautiful purpose, and then you part ways. There are other crystals that might be there for the duration of your entire life. It's important for us to realize this so that we don't become overly attached, so that we are able to remain as two individual beings who are working together. Some people carry crystals in their pockets or as part of their jewelry. When that particular energy is no longer resonating for you, is no longer helping your physical, mental, emotional, spiritual system the way it might have been when you first started carrying the crystal or wearing the crystal, you will know. You may feel that, oh, I just don't want to wear that anymore, or, oh, it's time to choose a new one and bring in a different energy. Or if you ignore the feeling that maybe you should leave the crystal home today or whatever it is, you might start to feel pain. You might feel energetically mired. For example, if you're wearing a hematite bracelet, and it really helped. It really grounded you, it balanced you, it cleared your energy field, and you've been wearing the bracelet now for 6 months. And all of a sudden you're like, I love this bracelet and I'm not feeling it anymore, but I want it to be part of me still. Instead of leaving it in a special place at home, if you continue to wear it, you could develop some sort of pains on the side of the body that you're wearing the bracelet on because it's no longer resonant. Your body is trying to kind of push it off, so to speak, and the bracelet also doesn't want to be there because it's no longer serving you in the way that it was meant to in the first place. Sometimes our journey with a crystal can be really short. We get it, we meditate with it twice, and then we drop it, and it shatters. Other times we can be meditating for 10 years with the exact same crystal and feel a new energy every time we do. There's no right or wrong. It's just the way things are. Sometimes you may feel, oh, this crystal worked so well for me and it just doesn't feel like it's part of my experience anymore, but every time I look at it, I think of so-and-so. You might feel that you want to gift the crystal to that person. But remember, crystals choose the people, and the person has to feel resonant with the crystal. So what you might want to do is bring your beautiful crystal the next time you see the person and say, hey, I am giving this crystal away. I wanted to see if it's something that you feel is resonant with your experience, because you're getting the intuitive hit that this is the next person that the crystal should be with. More often than not, the person will say, oh my gosh, that's so beautiful and it feels so good. And then you can pass it on. Other times they may be like, no, but you know who I think would really like this? And so then you'll show it to the next person. Never gift that crystal to the other person without them telling you yes or no. Other times a crystal's experience with you will just be finished and it will break. That crystal is finished. You and that crystal have now finished the work that was to be done together. In fact, that crystal has probably finished its work on the planet for now, and it's time to return it to the earth. So when a crystal breaks, even if it chips, if we keep it, it changes the way the energy flows through it. It fragments the energy, and it's time to return that crystal to the earth. All it takes to do this is a shovel and some dirt. You can ask, where is it that I need to bury my crystal? And sometimes you might get an answer. You might see an exact location, or you might feel called to leave it out in the forest somewhere, or you might just feel called to go outside and bury it in your yard and return it to the earth in that way. And you can do this ceremonially. You can treat it like you're burying an old friend, because it really has been part of your life and part of your experience. And so releasing it back to the earth in this way can be a very, very beautiful thing. But a lot of times, because of our attachment, because we think, oh, I paid so much money for this and now it's broken, so let me just repair it. The energy has changed, and now we're going to start having all of this fragmented energy in our space. Instead of energy flowing the way it was, it's going to start refracting in all different ways because of the glue, because of the repair. So you'll know, even if the crystal breaks and you don't quite feel that it's time to release it yet, you'll know exactly when the timing is right. So these are really important things that everyone needs to know about crystals. Whether you're using them for personal growth and development, in healing work, or you just want to bring crystals into your space because of their beauty and the way they inspire you and the way they make your space feel. Leave a comment and let us know which tips you found really helpful. If you would like more assistance on your healing journey, please join us in our next group energy therapy in the Healing Temple session. Information can be found by tapping the link in the description of this video or in the comments below. I look so forward to seeing you there and allowing ourselves to be held in this amazing temple space of unconditional love and healing. Thank you as always for being here, for being part of this community, and for sharing these videos out far and wide with all who you feel could use the information they contain. I look so forward to continuing to support you on your personal journey of healing, of growth, and expansion. We'll talk soon, everyone.